You know, normally when we make these videos about the 7 types of riders you'll meet, we make some jokes, we have a good time, and everyone goes away feeling like they have a better understanding of each other. But that is not what's gonna happen today. No. Today, we're roasting the crap out of the adventure crowd, but we're not going to be satisfied with well done. No. We're going to leave a wake of broken dreams and shattered egos a mile long because, let's be honest, that's the longest adventure you've ever been on. Some of you might be wondering, well, gee, Yam, who peed in your Wheaties this morning? You did, when you wrote in suggesting that riding around with your butt planted on the seat of a clapped-out DRZ around a manicured trail was real off-road riding. This is your fault now, and I hope you enjoy the horror that you've wrought. Oh, and for all you sport bike people thinking that this is a fun new thing, it's only gonna happen to nerds and cruiser people, you best be preparing your collective anuses because you're up next week. Yeah, let that knowledge hang over your head like a sword of Damocles. This is usually where the head pat goes, but you know what? No, if your tender fifis get hurt but the mean old internet, man, then you've got some bigger fish to fry, and nothing I say here about this all being a joke and hyperbole is gonna go in one ear and out the other. For those of you who understand what's happening here, maybe you can try to explain it to these Luddites in the comments section, because my words just can't seem to pierce the thick layer of ignorance that these people have wrapped around their heads like a blankie. And now, a word from our sponsor. Yeah, hard pivot, baby. Are you an EDC weirdo? Do you like walking around with a belt full of tools like you're a daywalker Batman? Do you have multi-tool, keychain, bear mace, blowtorch, socket set, emotional support teddy, and the cell phone all on your belt like a dad from the mid-90s? Simplify your whole setup, my dude. The Ridge has everything you need to turn your nerdy utility belt into a nice lightweight package, except for the emotional support teddy. You're on your own with that one. You already know about their low-profile wallets, which are the best in class when it comes to carrying all your cards and cash in one slim package, but you might not know that they've got a whole range of EDC tools. They've got pens, notebooks, key cases, pocket-ready multi-tools, and more. They've even got backpacks and duffel bags to put all this stuff in. Click the link down below and get yourself 10% off your order at The Ridge with code YAMMYNOOB. Ditch your underwhelming Batman cosplay and upgrade your life today. Thanks for The Ridge for sponsoring today's video. Okay, so today we're going to start off with a character that I have personally witnessed in action. His name is Wilbur. Actually, it was Steve, but look, the point isn't what his name is the fact that he was some Wilford Brimley looking ass who rode his R1250 GSA through the deserts of Utah like a goddamn superhero. The only problem is that this dude has no technique. You can sit there and tell him to stand up all day long, but he just sits in the seat and bombs down trails at Mach 1. It doesn't matter whether it's over rocks or gravel or sand or even lesser adventure riders, Wilbur will just plow through everything, probably while listening to NPR in his helmet. If you've ever been adventure riding with a group, you've probably encountered a Wilbur. You've just repressed it like that time you accidentally, confidently shouted the wrong answer in a crowded lecture hall and everyone laughed at you, including the professors and your mom. Also, you want to talk about staying hydrated? Got your little camel pack with some water in it so you can keep your organs nice and quenched? Wilbur packs 2 cans of Dr. Peppers that he'll drink while waiting for you to finally get to the fork in the road. That's it. Because water is for puppies. The only problem with Wilbur is he just doesn't care anymore. He knows that he's over the hill, and since he's more than likely retired, he's got nothing better to do than to hasten death. This dude doesn't even wear dirt gear, just some steel-toed work boots, a Joe Rocket mesh jacket, and probably a Schuberth modular helmet because he needs to eliminate as much road noise as possible so he can hear the latest Life Kit segment on composting, because, you know, he can't hear so good no more. Let me give you one piece of advice. Don't try to keep up with Wilbur. Spite actually tried that and high-sided a GS twice. In this case, it's better to let your dreams be memes and accept that you do in fact suck off-road and you cannot do 96 miles per hour on gravel. Now, transitioning from the positive to the absolute worst burning dumpster fire of the ADV world, who also coincidentally rides a BMW R1250 GSA, it's the GS on single track guy. How do you know if you found a GS on single track guy? Don't worry, they'll tell you. You'll hop on your favorite social media app and post about how you had a great time off-roading. You'll share some pictures of the trail or maybe a video of you clearing some pretty particularly nasty sections. And then like clockwork, this basement dweller will scuttle out of their cave like Smeagol after the riddles in the dark, loudly proclaiming that that's not real off-roads, precious. It's not tricksy enough, precious. And then they'll disappear back to whence they came to fashion another loincloth out of BMW Motorrad apparel. The only problem is that the object of their desire, much like Smeagol in The Ring, is ever out of their grasp, and when they do finally get it, they fall into a volcano with it. Look, if this metaphor is getting a little too heady, what I'm trying to say is that they actually suck. If you get a comment like this from one of those people who says that only a real adventure rider like them can handle off-road riding, and that they send their 650-pound adventure bike down all kinds of trails, click on their profile. Chances are it's some of them have their own channel or page that probably has like 40 followers. Most of them are probably friends or family who chuck them a pity follow so that he would stop breaking out his phone in family gatherings. It doesn't matter if Here Comes the Bride is playing or the funeral march, there's always the sound of the BMW Boxer engine farting away through tinny speakers somewhere in the background. Anyway, check the videos they have on their channel. It's probably some pristine garage-kept bike with a whole bunch of farkles thrown at it, because buying a personality is easier than making one of your own. And the very last video is probably him taking the bike down a gravel road and ends with him dropping the bike. That's the BMW single-track guy in a nutshell. All talk, no skill. Hey, that's kind of like S1000RR riders. Do you think it's just a BMW thing in general? Now, here's a thinker for you. Have you ever wondered who would run out and buy something as stupid as an adventure scooter? See, I always thought it was Honda making something that no one on Earth actually asked for, but the problem is people actually buy them, and in droves. They make an ADV 150 for people who actually want it. It's basically what happens if you take an Africa Twin, take all the stuff off of it that makes it a capable adventure bike, and crudely bolt it to a scooter for some reason. There are even photos of this monstrosity with people standing up on it like they're on a real bike. The problem is that it's far more pernicious than some stupid step-through scooter. No, the whole point was for Honda to infect the world with a disease so potent that it has a 100% chance of reducing you from a capable ADV rider into some weird scooter boy ready to proclaim to the world that a 125 is all you need. The ADV 150 is a stepping stone. You step right through the scoot and end up on a Trail 125. Oh, but Yammy, it's so cute. It's got spoked rims and a platform on the back for you to put all your things. It's so easy to ride, and you'll never drop it because the seat height is so low. No. Stop right there. Maybe your little echo chamber subreddit has rotted your brain and turned you into the CT150 zombie, but it's easier for you if you just admit to the fact that a dual sport or an adventure bike was just too expensive. Look, I get it. Inflation is killer, wages have been stagnant for decades, but you don't have to live this life, or at least you don't need to inflict your poor choices on the rest of us. I have seen people go full red pill here and spend tons of cash on exhaust and skid plates and windscreens, and dude, just get a real motorcycle. I don't know who hurt you or why, but this is not the answer to your life's problems. And then there's the other Honda people, the people who verbally hear me crucify the CBR 500R and think to themselves, yeah, that bike's kind of crap, isn't it? Boy, oh boy, I'm glad I got the CB 500X instead. No. Listen and repeat after me. All CB 500s suck. That includes the F, the X, and the R, and even the Rebel 500, though that one kind of gets a pass because all cruisers suck. The CB500X is a pariah, desperately hoping to one day be acknowledged by their peers. The problem is that they have no peers. It's like that one smelly kid who picks his nose on the back of the short bus. You just leave him alone. You don't walk up and ask him how his boogers taste because you know he's going to offer you one. Same thing with these CB500X people. You'll ask them about their bike, and they'll reply that it's perfect, it's got just enough power to have fun, it can handle some light off-road riding, and then you look at their tires and you notice they're still rocking the same stock sport touring rubber, and it's got the yellow chalk bands on it because they never lean over. What's that in their side cases? Is it a high-vis yellow rain suit? Of course it is, but why did they pack it? It's a perfectly sunny day outside. Well, you never know. Poseidon might unleash his wrath upon the world and bring with it a monsoon, and not only does this poor sap want to stay dry, but they don't want to be hit by someone who didn't see them while racing to the higher ground. The CB500X rider is what happens when the kid who was always picked last in gym class grows up and buys an adventure bike. The bike is so boring that on the factory website, the main features they list are anti-lock brakes and dual overhead cams. Whoa! So like every other bike made on the planet, right? And that's the bike you chose? It's like your self-loathing made manifest, but like an abused spouse, you keep coming back for the apology, then it proceeds to embarrass you publicly again, and the cycle repeats. but at least you're capable of feeling shame, unlike KLR stands out there. Look, I'm gonna say this right up front, the KLR is a bad motorcycle. It just is. It makes 40 horsepower and weighs 480 pounds. Those numbers are so bad, Royal Enfield is laughing at them, only to realize that the Himalayan is somehow even worse. But for once, Royal Enfield is not in the crosshairs. Look, I get people who bought a Gen 1 KLR because all bikes sucked prior to the year 2000, but with the march of time, progress came. But nope, the KLR is still the same old donkey that it ever was, but that's part of the charm, Yami. It's a lovable little mule that'll keep going, no matter what you ask it to do. Then you ride away on your fancy adventure bike, leaving the KLR stand in your dust. Your flagship bike and all of its tech ushered you to the top of a mountain, and while you're standing there, taking your obligatory selfie for the gram, you hear it. Puttering away down the trail is the KLR. Let me put it to you this way. We all know that you can just type Google into your search bar and it'll take you right to the homepage, right? Well, KLR people type www.google.com. They do things the hard way because they can't hear the march of progress over the clattering of their broken doohickeys. The KLR is the official bike of a good time. Not a great time or an amazing time, just a good time. It goes to bed before 9, wakes up before 6, works a full 8 hours, and does the same thing every day until the heat death of the universe. Yeah, the KLR might survive the apocalypse, but that doesn't mean it's great. Do you know what else will survive the nuclear Armageddon? Cockroaches. Lastly for today, we have the dual sport elitists. I can almost count myself among these, the enlightened few who through rigorous research and study have come to the conclusion that no adventure bike can keep up with a WR250R off-road. They take all that money they saved by buying a used dual sport and spend it on saddlebags, a new seat, new handlebars, engine guards, and skid plates galore. They merrily bomb their way down single-track trails, go over jumps, and do first-gear wheelies over ledges and gaps, knowing that there's no possible way an adventure bike could keep up with their skills. They dust up on ADV bikes as a warm-up, and even when they do have a spill, they hop right back on their horse, knowing that they didn't prolapse their anus trying to lift some heavy-ass motorcycle out of a ditch. But then they reach the end of a trail, all adventures must come to an end, and they hang their heads mournfully. They return to the asphalt and immediately get passed by a 1988 Kia Festiva like they were standing still. The vibrations, which at first felt like a sensual taint massage, now become an irritation. They want to go faster, but last time they cruised at 70, they couldn't feel anything on the tips of their fingers for 2 days. But that's okay, because they still have some cash left over, so they buy anti-vibration bar risers and an exhaust with a tune, and since they need to go on the highway, they might as well pick up a windshield. The boxes arrive, and they walk down the garage, and their lovable dual sport has vanished, replaced with an adventure bike. In horror, they run back up the stairs and look in the mirror, and they see Whooper looking back at them. It can't be. They scream. They turn on their computer and check their comment logs and see that it's nothing but judgmental comments about how it's not real off-road riding. The realization dawns on them. They've become the thing they despised, and that, kids, is why you shouldn't ride adventure bikes. Fact. There are beaches in the Maldives that glow in the dark. Too bad you'll never see them because you spent all your money on Farkles, you dummy adventure rider. Goodbye.
Keep watching.